Well, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio where I have one of my most favorite.
Today, we don't have any sponsors, but if you're interested in being a sponsor, please go on sistersofleisure.com. And if you'd like to be on our podcast, please go on sistersofleisure.com as well. And we also take love donations. And you can find all of those links on sistersofleisure.com.
Yes. And so, today I am so excited because we have Delphine Lomax Taylor. And Delphine is, first off, she is a survivor of, I can't wait to hear her story, but she is the author of Life Lessons Learned on the Journey to Marriage, Motherhood, Entrepreneurship, Divorce, Surviving Breast Cancer, and Finding New Love. She is a survivor of triple negative breast cancer. She is the owner of V&L Research and Consulting. And I'm just excited to have you on, Sister Alicia. Thank you so much for coming and visit with us. And so first off, Delphine, I want to know what triple negative breast cancer is. I've never heard of that.
I hadn't either. Matter of fact, I did learn later after I was diagnosed with it, I did learn that it does affect, not that it doesn't affect other races or ethnicities, but it is prominent among people of color. But triple negative, at first, when you hear that, when I heard triple negative, I was like, oh, good. Negative, sometimes when you taste negative to something, that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
But not with triple negative breast cancer. That is not a good thing. Matter of fact, so I'm coming up on 7. I was diagnosed in 2013, had all my surgeries and chemo in 2014. So I can say I'm 7 or 8 years cancer free. But when they told me triple negative, that meant that there's 3 things they look at. They kind of look at progesterone, estrogen, and Herzog or another thing. And I didn't test positive to any of those. And since I didn't test positive to those 3 things, that means they didn't know where the cancer started in my body. Because you've heard, I don't know if you've heard positive breast cancer, people are progesterone positive or estrogen positive or other positives. And so they didn't really have there's no cure, but they also didn't have protocols. I think they've got more protocols now. But when I was diagnosed, you just was hearing about triple negative. And so I had to take the strongest, my protocol was the strongest drug that they could give you. And also they would never, if breast cancer ever came back, I was told that I couldn't get that drug again because it was just the adriamycin. I remember that drug that I had to take. I was on 2 different protocols, but one of them I remember was adriamycin. And that that's not something that you get second time around.
Okay. That's interesting. So basically, once you take that medicine and your cellular condition comes back, they have to start chemo or do something different, or?
You know what? I have no idea because, oftentimes people reoccurrence can be high, but thank God, you never really know. People always ask, do you know, is it back? Is it back? I don't know. I don't get yearly scans, but I don't know, but I try not to dwell on it. It's in the back of my head. It's sometimes in the back of my head, like it could come back, but I try not to dwell on it. And I'll tell you another thing, ladies, I try and live my life. I don't want to say as if it's each day as if it's my last, but every day that I'm here, I want it to be my best life that it could be.
Yes, that's beautiful. And that's powerful right there. So I'm taking that your book that you wrote is, like you said, it's your journey. It's your journey to how you got through this. So tell us a little bit about that. What made you want to write a book about all of this?
I always felt like I had a word or had something to say. Now I'm 63. I'm 63. I'm happy to be 63 because I'm happy to be on this side of life. But I really wanted it completed when I was 60, but actually the book has been out for a year now. but I always just felt like I had something to say, or always want to be an inspiration to someone. And so I got this email. So it's been 3 years ago now. I got this email from a friend. I actually used to teach Anthony Parnell in Sunday school. He lives in Las Vegas now, and he's a published author and he does things, but he sent kind of a promo that if you want to write a book, give me a call or whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't believe this. So it's something. So I reached out to him, and then we just got a contract started. And the way that the book was the way we got started with the book is him and I would have weekly calls. Every week we would have a call. And for whatever reason, I wanted 10 chapters. It was 8 at first, but we added a couple of more. But we would have a weekly call on a particular subject: raising my sons, or marriage, divorce, running a business, what I did in college, growing up in Akron, Ohio. So we took a week, but weeks turned into a year that turned into another year. But those were some of the most therapeutic to pour my heart out to someone, not a woman, but a man. And then what he would do was kind of give me back what he thought I heard. And then I was like, no, it didn't happen like that. So me and him, it was a partnership. We worked together on the manuscript.
Okay. So you didn't have to sit and type out everything. It was just kind of,
no,
that's
actually,
beautiful.
he did the typing, I did the editing. We just went back and forth. And tone, because when you read something and then it's like, that's not the right tone, or I wanted to keep it. There were some very, I would say, hurtful things in here, or things that I went through that wasn't exactly pleasant, but I still always wanted to turn it around to a positive. Even though I went through some things that didn't feel good, breast cancer and divorce, but there you can be, it's all right. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey and how you have become the woman you are today.
You know what? I'll tell you, it wasn't because of me. One thing, and even through my breast cancer journey, and even through divorce, when that saying about it takes a village and whatever, I am so blessed and so honored that I am surrounded to me by people who love me. And that is so important. Sisters, even when I met you guys, the sisterly love. It's my kids always tell me, well, they're grown now, that you don't meet a stranger. But I'm a very optimistic person, but I would have to say family, friends, my sister, just aunties, girlfriends, I'm to me surrounded by people who love me and care for me. My sons, my grandkids, that feels so good. And there's some people, I'll tell you, there's some people who don't have that, who don't have a sense of family. And I just feel so blessed and honored to have a family and friends.
That is important. That's so important, because who do you call? I talk to my sister every day. Every day. And so just to have someone to relate to talk to throw ideas off, to complain to, just to have that someone to be able to, hold you accountable.
Yeah, so important. Even in my business, VNL Research and Consulting, this is my 30th year in business. 30 years.
Wow.
Oh, we coughed at the same time. I'm like, something got stuck in my throat. 30 years. But VNL stood for Virgil and Lomax. I'm now divorced, but it's still VNL Research. But I have a wonderful business partner. And just like you said, some people are in business by themselves, or they may work for a big corporation, but to be able to bounce ideas off. We have completely different personalities, but that's okay too, because we need to have different personalities for things to go. You don't want everybody to be the same. That would be boring. That would be boring. That would be
very boring. Very boring. So what is VNL Research Consulting? Because 30 years in that's a long time. So
30 years. And our company is really a male-dominated industry. So VNL Research and Consulting Inc., we're a full-service market research company. So you might ask, well, what is market research? Well, we have a slogan, the right information for smart decisions. So we do primary research, secondary research, like the people call you on the phone to do surveys, and then we recruit people into focus groups. Now, I've not been in a facility in almost 2 years. So we do our focus groups via Zoom platform. So we talk to people, companies hire us to find out about their product or service, whether sometimes we have done radio spots where we're testing radios and commercials, or a product or a service, things like that, customer service satisfaction, strategic planning. That's what we do.
I've been a part of one of your market research, and I enjoyed it. It was very interesting to hear everyone's perspective on things. Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. I enjoyed every bit of it.
So what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michelle. So when you do market research, what is the results that you're trying to get when you complete the research study?
So it all depends. So kind of the steps we go through is we meet with our client. Our client might have a set of objectives that they're trying to reach. They might be wanting to see what people think about their brochure, what people think about their radio spot or their commercial. We even do mystery rides. It's been a while, but we even have mystery riders that have been on buses throughout Atlanta, and just they're on the bus, riding the bus, but when they get done, there's a little survey that they do that may, did the bus arrive on time? How was the stops? Was the driver courteous? Did they have on a seat belt? Things like that. So we haven't done that in a while since the pre-pandemic, but we are out at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport doing passenger surveys. So we talk to people because companies want to know what people think about their product or service. Are they doing good? So we do that. And we're full service, meaning we do as little, and we do a lot of political studies, meaning candidates that are running, a lot of them do research. They do a lot of political polling, and they want to know about what their constituents think of them. So we do, around election times, we do an awful lot of market research, and not just here in the Atlanta area, we go across the country.
Yeah, I was a part of the political.
Oh, you did the political? Okay.
I did the political one, and it was very interesting. And it was a process to go through, like, they had to get a little bit about me and my work and things like that. So yeah.
We had to make sure that our participants qualify, because say we're doing a product or something, but you don't use the product. Now, sometimes we could have two focus groups, one where people don't use the product and one where they do use the product. And so we always do what we call a screener. So we want to screen you to make sure that you fit in the right focus group, and then make sure we put you in the right focus group. And then I use a moderator's guide, and I facilitate the group based on a set of questions that were developed by myself or the client or combination. And then we do their focus groups. We pay our participants to talk to us, and then we get our tapes transcribed. We write a report, we present it to the client.
That's interesting.
It's real. It's great. I love it. I love what I do.
Now let's go back to the book, because I know it's juicy.
Well, you know what? But I didn't put everything. I didn't put everything in here. You had to leave some stuff out. Someone said, well, maybe that'll be book 2. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I'll tell you this though, on a serious note, that divorce chapter, I'll tell you, it's every time I pick this book up and read that chapter, my heart literally hurts, or I get these palpitations, because it was really, no one could have told me that I would not be with this person today. Met him at 9. He asked me in Sunday school at 9, asked me for my phone number at 14, couldn't date till I was 16. Then he asked me to marry him when I was 20. We got married at 21, had kids at 24 and 27, stayed married for 30 years. That's a long time.
That's a long, and you guys are business partner, right?
No. I have a business partner. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're not business partners, but that was something. But then that new love came too. New love. And that's a testament, because it was a hurtful time. And there is no way back in 2010 you could tell me that I would overcome that. But I did. And then,
How long did it take you?
well, you know what? When it happened in 2010, I cried for a year. I cried for a whole year until I was used to singing the choir. And I remember every Sunday when, prayer time came, girl, I was crying. I was down at the altar on my knees, just crying. So one Sunday, January of the following year, I did my usual, come out the choir stand, get on my knees at the altar, and girl, I was trying to cry. Girl, I was trying to cry. I literally felt like I heard a voice that said, stop crying.
Yeah.
Your butt back up in that choir stand and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
And hadn't cried. So you got to go through, you got to let pain go. You got to let the victim mentality go and become a victor. When that happened, guys was coming up the woodwork. But I mean, it was people, you open your heart up for some people so others can come in.
I mean, yeah.
And someone came in. And
see, and that's like the shift of the energy. You know what I'm saying? You sad and you broken and unhealed, right? And then next thing you know, girl, get up.
There's a book called Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tippin. Matter of fact, he had a class and someone invited me to this class and you went through stuff. And radical forgiveness, you know what that means? Radical forgiveness means you forgive someone. How about we sometimes think that God puts people, like I might have said, oh, he left me and woe is me, and have this victim mentality. How do you not know that God takes people out of your life because he got another purpose for you?
Okay. Because not everybody is there for a whole it's what is the saying? Some people are in your life for a season,
a reason, or a lifetime, and
that's important. That's a word, because it was a learning lesson. I'm sure there was like, after a while, all these thoughts that come like, okay, I should have seen that, or whatever. I don't know, but just knowing that time was up. It was time to move on and move, That's
a hurtful thing though, because we grow up and we're taught that, till death do us part. And I was a firm believer in that. Till death. I wasn't abused. He was a wonderful father, great husband. Actually, it took me by surprise. I had no idea, but I was traveling a lot at the time. Kids are grown, gone. I was traveling a lot at the time, but you just we gotta be more in tune, like those who have mates out there. You got to have periodic check-ins.
And communication.
Yep. You gotta have some check-ins.
Like, how you doing? Is everything okay?
Yeah, definitely. Because you can just everybody go down after being married so long. I don't want to say you take advantage of each other, but you do this, but you just got to check in. You got to have periodic check-ins.
So wait a minute. So that just clicked in my brain. So you're saying, as a spouse, it's sometimes you just guys like, how are you doing? How are things going? What do we need to do to keep things alive?
Yeah.
Oh, that's deep right there. Because you know what? We don't really. I ain't never heard of that before.
Yeah, and matter of fact, there were, you're talking about being married for 30 years. And then I had other friends, they've been married 30 years too. Girl, they was running to their husband talking about, we okay? Okay? Again, you got to check in.
Yeah.
So what you saying is, after they saw what you was going through, they was checking in then.
Yeah, they was
checking in. Are we okay?
Yeah. Because that's a long time. And you know what? I can't think of some basketball player. What's his name? Steph Curry or whatever. His parents, or was it her parents? I'm not too sure.
His parents, I think.
His parents, after so many years, decided they were going to divorce, and it's just like, whoa, like where did that come from, So that has to be, a big reflection, on like, just kind of self-reflecting and, healing and understanding, and because when you so used to certain things. But enough about that. We have a new love. We found new love.
Absolutely. And it happened. I actually met him the year I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm just how things can come full circle. Met him in May of 2013, went out on our first date, had a wonderful time, and was with each other ever since that first date, right? But then come October, I had my mammogram, and then I thought I was going to get a lumpectomy because at first they said I was stage 0. And I had never heard of stage 0. I had only heard of 1 through 4, but stage 0, I think it's DISC or anyway, it's not invasive, meaning sometimes it's in the duct. And so I knew someone who was a breast cancer specialist. And so when they told me I had stage 0, bad news breast cancer, good news stage 0, I said, let me get a second opinion. So glad I did, because when I went to this doctor, she did an MRI on my right breast. Come to find out, she says, I don't like what I see. There's a lot of calcifications or like white stuff. She says, if I were you, now mind you, I always took my mom or someone with me to a doctor appointment. Today I didn't. I'm thinking I'm going to schedule a lumpectomy. When I get in her office, she's got these screens up, and she ended up saying I needed a mastectomy. Girl, I was like, I gotta lose one of the girls. I had to lose one of the girls. And I was like, what? Wait. I drove to Walmart Stonecrest parking lot, and I just started crying. And I called Pete. This is May. I met him in May. This is October. And he was taking me on a cruise in December. And I was like, you didn't ask for this. You did not ask for this. And you know what he said to me? I'm not going anywhere.
Oh,
yeah. And I just started crying all over again because I was, oh my God, stuck with me when I lost my hair. He's bald. When I lost my hair after a couple of chemo treatments, and my hair was starting to fall out, I was like, uh-oh. I said, it's time. And so he shaved my head. And so he was bald, I was bald, and I would wear earrings. I tried to do a wig, that just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I just rocked the bald in my earrings.
Oh, I bet you was cute like me.
And my oncologist she would have me talk to different people. She said, because sometimes even when you go in chemo, you don't feel like it, but I put my lipstick on, I try and feel my best that I could. But there were so many people, they would be, just not smiling and down and out. But I feel like when you're as optimistic and positive as possible, you feel better. Even when you
and that's important, because sometimes you just gotta push yourself through. It's important to be able to have that burning desire, that push, and I did a talk not too long ago, and I put that your strength is really your desire to keep going. That's your strength. It's just that to keep pushing on, to get that, to break through that barrier of sadness and pain. Yeah, that's your strength to do that. Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
So, you got divorced. It seemed like things were just happening one by one by one. So what made you finally just was able to kind of relax through it all and just get the breakthrough that you were looking for?
That forgiveness, as I mentioned before, forgiveness. And then, you gotta live every day again, not that it's your last, but tomorrow's not promised to us. So we don't know like I said, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So why not just take it a day at a time? Somebody, and I've heard this before, and you guys probably have heard it too, live in the moment. That is so hard. To live in the moment, live and cherish what you have, like right now. But that is so hard, ladies. That's so hard, because we be thinking about what happened yesterday or what we get ready to do tomorrow. But someone was saying, and I've read that, about living in the present time. Because you know what? The past is gone. You have no control over tomorrow.
Yes.
You live and just enjoy and be in the present.
And that's why it's called a present. It's a present. We gotta be in the present. It's a present, you know? And that's, I struggle with that. I struggle with that. Not really living in the past, but trying to figure out what's gonna happen in the future. Yeah, like I'm trying to guide everything to perfectly match this what I think is gonna happen in the future, and it's just and then I get aggravated or whatever with myself about like, okay, Michelle, no, that's not how everything is gonna go.
Or you hear people say things like, "Don't sweat the small stuff," or my son used to say this, "Ma, it's not that serious." That used to irk me when my son would tell me, "Mom, it's not that serious." When, oh my gosh! But when I got breast cancer or went through divorce, it's not that serious. And sometimes things are not that serious. Like,
yeah,
let it go, Mom. I was like,
yeah.
But they won't understand that if they're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
And then if you're feeling broken or hurt, they still can't understand it, but you have to deal with it. You know, so you're constantly having to understand who you are as a person. You know, just to get through your whatever problems that you have.
And you know, though, too, I will say this, and it's my prerogative. You know, I even had some people say, "Well, get over it. It's been 5 years. Get over it." In some respects, it's now been going on 11 years. Sometimes I'm still not over it. I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. Sometimes I still have my little moments like, "Dag, you know, how could it have been?" But and I also tell people who, I had a friend who just recently lost her husband, just heart attack. And it's like, we gotta not take our loved ones for granted. Or what I've been trying to do lately is, if somebody drops in my spirit or in my mind, pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah.
Major important.
Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you as far as your marketing, and how could they purchase your book?
Okay, so let's start with Woman to Woman. That book, I have a website, Woman and the number 2 Woman. So that's WOMAN, the number 2 Woman, WOMAN.network. And you can purchase it there. It's on Amazon. Okay. And then my business, VNL Research and Consulting Inc., we have a website as well, www.V like victory, L like love, research.com. And it has been an honor and a pleasure. I know time is wrapping up too, but it's been wonderful meeting the both of you and just sharing my story.
Yeah. And we appreciate you being here on Sisters of Leisure as well. So ladies, men, please purchase the book. And please, if you need marketing assistance and guidance, Delphyne Lomax Taylor is definitely the one to assist you in that area. And it's just been an honor. I mean, just speaking with you and, you know, just how we all met. It's just been a beautiful thing, and how, you know, you grew up in Akron, Ohio, and we lived in Akron, Ohio.
And now we're both, you have family in Rome and I'm in Rome. So it's just.
Isn't that something? I know. And real quick, I know we probably only got 2 minutes, but 4 organizations, if you don't mind, that really helped me, and it could help someone who may be tuning in, is Susan G. Komen. They supplied the grant. I got my mammogram through the Center for Black Women's Wellness. So there may be women who can't afford to get a mammogram, Center for Black Women's Wellness. And then I also got help from I Will Survive, Inc. I Will Survive, Inc. is here. They do a lot of things like makeovers and boot camps for you. And then Turning Point Breast Cancer Rehabilitation Center, because when they removed all the lymph nodes, I was prone to lymphedema. I don't have it, but Turning Point, myturningpoint.com. They do a lot with rehabilitation when you're a breast cancer survivor. So I wanted to just give a shout out to those organizations.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I love you, Delphine. Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in 2 weeks. We love you all, and don't forget to have a wonderful and amazing week.
Yeah.
Yes.